Are we live though? I hear you fine. Is it just not going through? Yeah, I'll get us rolling. You just give me the thumbs up when I can count on you to be in. I suppose this is just a one-sided conversation. So for those, we're having a few technical difficulties, but
I'm back.
we got Lance on it, and we are starting now the Wanna Parlay podcast, which as always is brought to you by the fine folks of Wanna Parlay, home of the $2 parlay and the world's richest parlay, where every day people are turning $2 into 2 grand. Just ask a couple of our big time winners. We are midway point of our Wanna week, and the winner's circle is starting to get awfully crowded around here at Wanna Parlay. Tons of special shout outs to hand out today, as always. Tell you what, Lance, the pick seven, pick six, and pick five had laid dormant. Thank God we're talking to the most recent winner of the pick seven, our guy Kevin Gleiwa, later today on the show. Get some tips and some hints from him. The pick four, Donardo, walks out with $200. Way to go, Donardo. Heavy hitters, that's also gone a little quiet. Nobody venturing out to go $50 on a parlay to chase that $1,000 prize. It's a mistake, people. It's a mistake. Wanna Parlay is going to match you at $250. Go ahead and plug that in there. Take a couple swings at $1,000. What the hell? It's house money. The main event, I'm honestly shocked to see it, but Cicero Rocky 3x9 still hanging on with the old 47, whatever the hell decimal point it is. But I'm telling you, people, I've been around this competition enough. That thing is not going to hold on. If it's still there Sunday, I may quit my job and play for that 2 grand exit on the way out the door. We are very excited to have our guy Kevin Gleiwa on from Little Joe's in Chicago to talk about his recent pick seven win, as we just discussed. Speaking of Little Joe's, a quick reminder, we are less than a month away from the drop takeover at Little Joe's in Chicago. It is back and bigger than ever. Arthur and Bob are behind the bar pouring drinks and swapping stories. KG is in the kitchen whipping up his famous jambalaya, beef sandwiches, and those insane Taylor Street sliders. El Bandito Tequila will be in the building, as well as the good folks of Wanna Parlay, possibly Lance and I. This is going on February 10th from 4 p.m. to 2 a.m. If you're in the Chicago area, get your ass over there. Download Wanna Parlay, win some money, drink some tequila, have a slider, 9 of them. Lanny, let's do the podcast. Let's bang out some accountability time here.
Let's go. Shout out to David Smerling. He's here in the chat saying, "What's up, boys? What's going on, David? What's going on?"
Fantastic. Good to have the Raider in the house.
Yeah.
I want his opinions on these NFL picks when we get there.
Yes, sir. All right. Accountability hour. For me, I went 0-1 because I went for a parlay. I went for it all. I went for all the glory. And I missed. I went 3-3 in the parlay. Bucks minus 2.5 over the Kings. That was sweat free. That was a lock. DeRozan over 3.5 assists. A little sweaty, but he got that fourth assist pretty early in the fourth quarter. We were good. Bulls minus 1.5. This is when I needed Kevin. KG, I needed you to tell me that the Bulls weren't it. They actually lost that game to the Pelicans, I believe, by 5 or 6 points. Zion Williamson did not have over 22.5 points. I believe he had 21. And I actually saw a parlay on social media earlier today. And a guy missed out on like 70,000 or something because of Zion's points. So, you know what? I felt his pain, but not nearly as dramatically. Denver minus 3.5 at Mavericks. That was a win, but Jokic over 28.5 points was a loss. That game, I predicted it wrong. It was actually all Jamal Murray, who had 30 in the first half. He balled out. So there's my 3-3 and 0-1 on the parlay. Jack, you're the man right now. Start firing off your accountability hour.
College hoops are starting to heat up for me. I went on a little bit of a freak show pick'em today for my Thursday night picks, but Tuesday night I did good. I went 4-1. Ole Miss plus 12.5 at Alabama. W. Ole Miss won that game outright. That Ole Miss team can absolutely hoop. That's going into Arkansas and winning, and that's going to Alabama winning their last 2 games. That's a big-time road swing for the Rebels. Way to go. It's a team to keep eyes on as we get into the serious months of the college basketball slate. Kentucky minus 6.5 versus Texas A&M. I told everybody this was the W of W's. My man Wade Taylor IV is out right now for Texas A&M. So Zurich Phelps right now is currently running point and taking all the offense there for the Aggies. And he is a transfer out of SMU, and I just know his game too well. And I really like this Kentucky team. That one covers easily. USC minus 2.5 versus Iowa. Trojans are settling in, and I absolutely dig them. I love what Coach Musselman, the team they assembled. It's a bunch of mid-major all-stars, a bunch of guys that averaged over 14 points at big-time mid-major schools last year. They'd come off a big-time road win against Illinois. Then they just go back against Iowa. The game before that, they actually were taking Indiana to the ropes on the road as well. So USC, a team I really like here, coming into the back half of January. Ohio State plus 6.5. They actually win this game outright too against Wisconsin. You absolutely love to see it. And then the only one that costs us is the only one that I really was playing my guns. I went Rice minus 4.5. Rob Lanier, I fucking vouched for you. I vouched for you in front of Lantz and fucking David Smerling, man. What am I doing? Toughie. UTSA wins that game outright. Rice loses a game they should have won at home. Rob Lanier, I hate it for you, dog. I hate it. But yeah, outside of that, Lance, I will say this: KG did give you a little nod here on the Bulls thing at the end of our last show. He told you Pelicans were winning that game, so there might be.
Did he?
When it comes
Maybe
to
I
Chicago
messed that
sports,
up. Maybe I messed
we
that
roll
up.
with KG.
Yeah, we are. And speak of the devil, he's actually in our waiting room. We ready to bring him on?
Oh, fantastic! Yes, please.
There he is, KG Little Joe's himself. Can you hear us?
I can hear you. I can see you. All right.
Well, you got to turn your camera on your side. Your side. There he is.
There he is.
All right.
Yes,
Here we go.
The most
I'm at the
recent
bar.
winner of the pick.
I'm at the bar, so if you hear something, don't worry about it. No one's dying.
You coming in live from Little Joe's right there?
Can you hear us?
Yeah, I'm here right now. Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
That's friggin' awesome. The fact that Lance and I haven't gotten there in person yet is it breaks my heart, to be honest with you. We need to get there for the drop takeover on February 10th.
I think he's at. Are you having audio difficulties? You hear us?
Can you guys hear me?
We can hear
Yeah,
you.
we hear you good. Are you coming through?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah.
You hear us? You're
Gosh
good.
darn.
We'll keep. That's your voice. Now you're muted.
All right, let's try this. All right.
How about
What
that
about
one
now?
now? Can you
How
hear
about
us
now? Can you hear us? You have to turn the
Yeah, I can
volume.
hear you. Yeah.
Oh, you.
The earpieces weren't working, so.
Oh, all good. All good.
Okay, beautiful. I was just saying, Kev, the fact that Lance and I have not been to Little Joe's yet bothers and confuses me. We got to get that fixed. We're going to try to make it out for the drop takeover.
Yeah. What are you slacking for?
We got to win more bets, man. I got to listen to you and what's happening with Bulls and Pelicans. You're coming off. You're the most recent winner. Yeah, Dial picks up 25 grand right now. But you're literally, as we sit here today talking, you're the most recent winner of the pick 7, winning $777. Now of 3,729 overall. Where's this money going? Is this going straight back to Little Joe's, or are we having some fun on the streets of Chicago with this?
I don't know. I don't know where it's going.
A little El
Go
Bandido
right
tequila.
Right there.
Yeah.
That's outstanding.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
All right. Well, you've been on the show before, so we'll cut through some of the bullshit with you. What do you think about coming? We want to talk college football. Are you going all the way Notre Dame with the points here?
Yeah, I'm taking Notre Dame in the points. I think it's gonna be a close game. I think the under is gonna hit too. So
That was my logic too. Huge spread, and I love the under. That's my favorite bet on the board. I'm definitely taking the under. I told Lance Notre Dame. He's an Ohio State guy.
sucks to suck.
That's good. So you think Notre Dame hangs in there? You think Riley Leonard is going to be able to face that Ohio State front 7?
I don't know if they'll win, but they'll stay close enough.
Okay, that's fair. Hey, that's fair. That argument has been the one I could agree with. But I've heard people try to tell me Notre Dame has a chance to win, and I'm like, all right, you need to cut that shit. They're not winning the game.
Everyone has a chance to win, but all it takes is one injury, one fumble.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. But I'm telling you, Ohio State, if they get an injury, their next guy up is probably better than Notre Dame starters.
KG, you just said it. Notre Dame leading the nation right now in turnovers as well. Kirk Herbstreit, who's an Ohio State homer, brought it up earlier in the week. If it's a late turnover, he expects it to be Notre Dame, and that late turnover is going to be the difference, Lance. We're covering this thing.
Hey.
Yep. You're gonna have to change your Ohio State to, whatever you want to be next.
All right. So going through your parlay, This was a little while back, so I don't really know the games, but some of these, Jack, this Suns -6.5.
So there's one in particular because for the most part, Kev, this was not very sweaty. Jaden Daniels over 1.5 touchdown passes, piece of cake. Mike Evans over 75.5. He goes for 92. That covered before the fourth quarter. Terry McLaurin was the only productive player for the Commanders. You were all over him. Commanders plus 3.5. Once you get the fumble, you pretty much were cruising there. Even overtime, you were probably safe. The game I wanted to talk to you about, which I didn't know if you were watching, I actually went live on the Suns here. So I know exactly how the last 5 minutes of this game shook out.
They're down double digits all game.
All game, you're down double digits. Then they're down 5 with 4 minutes to go. You still need Kevin Durant's overs. The Suns -6.5. They were down 5 with 4 minutes to go. And LaMelo Ball over 39.5. None of that happens. You get 2 points, 2 assists in the final 4 minutes from Kevin Durant to cover it by 2. You get the Suns to basically go on a 15-3 run to win 120-113. And LaMelo Ball to get an assist.
Well, it was actually tied with a minute 10 left, I think.
And all of a sudden you get Bradley Beal, I think, hits a 3, and you get a couple timely free throws. LaMelo Ball airballs one, and there you go. You walk out the door with $777.
Yeah, so the weird thing about that pick 7 was I put it at the last minute because I thought I was going to hit the main event because I was waiting on Jalen Daniels for the rush yards. That's all I had left. I was like, let me throw a quick 7-teamer in.
That's right. You were going down. You were chasing down the main event. And that, by the way, I got burned on that one as well. I had the 55.5. He ends up with like 51 or whatever it was. And he picked up the last touchdown. If he just keeps his feet, we cover.
Yeah, because I think he had 30 yards at halftime. Like, this is easy. Let me throw this 7-team parlay in. Who cares?
Yeah. Well, it's nice when $2 pays out $777. Congratulations. Now 3,729, by the way, on the platform. I'll say it again because it's that cool. I'm not up 3,000 in anything right now.
Yeah, I mean, during the weekend with the NFL football, I was betting on some other thing. We're just picking straight teams. We hit everything. We picked the straight upsets. We hit all those favorites with the giving the points. I was like, whoa, what's happening there? It's that new year, man. New juju.
Hell yeah. So, hey, last question before we let you go. What's your favorite NFL pick of the week? I'm in a Survivor League as well. I need a lock pick this weekend. What your favorite spread of the week?
Detroit.
All right. I like Detroit too. Lantz is on the Commanders.
You like Detroit 9.5? KG, it's looking like we're just opposites. We just think differently.
KG, I'm looking at that Marcus Lattimore cover. The guy's legs just aren't there anymore. The Lions are getting all over these guys.
Score that many points.
Yeah, it's Jameson Williams on Marcus Lattimore. It's simple as that for me. It's going to be a lot of points.
Yeah, I mean, all I need to do is take Daniel's legs out. The game's over in the first quarter.
But the Lions have struggled this year so far. I mean, what's struggling when you're the 1 seed? But they struggled against running quarterbacks so far this season. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, but they can put up 50 points, no problem.
All right, if you guys trust Jared Goff in the playoffs, so be it. I've seen it before as a Rams fan.
I don't trust him. I don't even trust him in fantasy football.
That's beautiful.
All right.
Okay, G, thank you so much for coming on the show, dude. You're the absolute greatest. Lance and I need to get our act together and get to Chicago ASAP and come visit you. But hopefully we get you on the show sometime soon. Next time you're in the winner's circle, which I'm sure will be just this weekend. So we'll be reaching out on Sunday.
Sounds good, guys. Talk to you soon.
You're the best, dude. Talk to you soon.
There he is. The man, the myth, the legend.
All-timer.
We got to fix his audio next time. There was too much like space between conversations. It was throwing me off.
We got to go live in Little Joe's.
Yeah, that's the real answer. We got. I actually am down to go to the drop takeover. We'll talk about that behind the scenes. We'll keep going with the show, but
we still owe a couple shots with Kev.
Yeah,
because of all the Bronny James stats. We haven't even talked G League numbers. The guy's going off.
He's going crazy. All right, Jack. Let's dive into our own NFL playoffs. Let's start Texans +8 at Chiefs. Talk to me. Convince me, because I'm lost here. My brain's scrambled.
I think the easy thing to do, and I do think it's not illogical, is to go read into past playoff plot lines. You see the Packers last year who got off to that hot start. You remember the Bucks of last year who played hot and kind of, all of a sudden you're riding that hot wave. You're going up against a team that's been sitting on ice for 2 weeks here, this and that. But to me, the narrative and the learning lesson of the first week of NFL playoffs in the wild card round was just don't get too caught up in these random plot lines and just examine the teams for what they are. And the Chiefs, for me, are head and shoulders the best team in the NFL. We'll see if a hot Bills or Ravens team, whoever emerges from that game, can get them. But in the meantime, this spread should be double digits. It's only because how good the front looked for the Texans in that game. The Chiefs and Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes are going to have 1,000 ways to neutralize them. And more than anything, C.J. Stroud and that offense, though at times they got the ball in easy spots and so were able to kind of be good on the scoreboard. They end up getting in the 30s. Joe Mixon ends up going over 100. That really ends up getting leaky points late in the fourth. And for the most part in that game, it wasn't like they were sustaining drives or being dominant in either the running or the passing game. So the Chiefs defense, who's been awesome and is coming fully healthy into this game, I expect them to be basically pitch a shutout. So I've got the Chiefs -8. I think they covered easy. I think it's still under 41.5. I think I could see the Chiefs offense with a conservative approach and the Texans defense kind of starting to hang in there. But ultimately, I don't see this game ever being that competitive in the second half. I got it playing out kind of like the Broncos-Bills game did, and I got the Chiefs winning 27-10.
Chip, that's good logic. That's good thinking over there. I'm glad I didn't, because I have this sick feeling that the Texans because you said in the beginning, let's eyeball test it. The Chiefs won a ridiculous amount of one-score games or just like weird fluke games all season long, and it was always close. So I don't think the Texans have a chance to win. I mean, obviously, like KG was saying, anyone has a chance. But, there's KG Lil Jones right away. Texans +8 all day. Kansas City wins 2017. Me and KG are on the same side here. We just went on about how we weren't on the same side about damn near anything. But here we are.
There you go. It's a lock.
There's David Smerling. I want to try to make it out to Little Joe's. It's exactly 3 hours from my house. Not sure, but it would be cool. David Smerling, that would be fucking awesome, man. Especially if you do it. If you do it during the drop takeover and we all bro down and we actually all make it out there, that'd be pretty great. That'd be Wanna legacy weekend.
You'd have no excuses in said situation. I know the roads are icy, but it's a 3-hour commute. Lance and I would be going cross country. You'd have to meet us there.
Yeah, in that situation, you'd have to meet us there. David Smerling, absolute legend, by the way. But okay, back to what we were talking about. Like, man, the Chiefs just keep it close. Like, it's always, they haven't wowed me one time on offense this year. They haven't wowed me once. But it's the Chiefs. They're 2-time Super Bowl or back-to-back Super Bowl champions. Like, it's tough.
So I think that was kind of the vibe of the Chiefs all year. It was on offense, they were doing just enough to win, and then the defense was exceptional. McDuffie's been the best secondary player all year. Their front's been great. It's honestly, when you have Patrick Mahomes on offense, it's really easy to be a GM, but it's been a GM masterclass in terms of them getting together and getting organized. But ultimately, I think kind of the story as they've gotten organized towards the back end of the season has actually been their offense getting right. And I know, obviously, some of the approaches have been a little conservative because Patrick Mahomes is got the Tom Brady brain of, I know exactly how to win this game, and I'm not going to do anything that gets us out of that. I'm not going to stat chase. He's clearly not an MVP guy. He stayed away from that bullshit, much like the Tom Brady career. And then they scored 27 against the Texans late. They scored 29 against, I know they were leaking oil, that Steelers team, but 29 against them. Obviously, the Broncos game was a preseason roster they were throwing out there. So I actually think, I don't know, man. Late second quarter on, I don't see the Chiefs ever leaving the offense, ever leaving the field without points.
Hey, they say KG Little Joe's in the chat. Kansas City is 8-9 against the spread this season.
Playoff football is Patrick Mahomes.
I know. That's where I'm like, I don't want to feel stupid enough to where I'm the guy betting the Texans against, it just, what hurts my ego more?
Now, maybe not exactly a want to parlay push here. If you're organizing parlays together, this isn't actually a nod, but maybe the most smartest thing to do is been the play all year is just chill and go live on the Chiefs. At some point in this game, are you going to get, Chiefs minus 2.5, Chiefs minus 6.5, or you're like, okay, I like that a whole lot more.
Yeah. No, you're 100% right. This one's tough for me. This is just really tough. It seems like it should be easier. That's yeah.
And honestly, that's me trying to find common ground with you. I've made my peace with it. I don't see the Texans getting into this isn't going to be that Deshaun Watson Chiefs game where all of a sudden the Texans were up 24-0 and we've got this all-world Patrick Mahomes comeback. This isn't. They don't have the offensive firepower for that. Tank Dell's no longer a part of this roster, obviously.
Diggs
is no longer a part of this roster, so it's a lot of Dalton Schultz and Nico Collins trying to get right. I mean. The defense is going to be outstanding. I'm going back even to that CJ Stroud game against the Ravens last year in Baltimore.
Yeah, shit down his leg.
Well, I just think I don't know if it was that or if it was just that they were that overmatched. They're coming out of the weakest division in football. I don't think the Chargers. Beating the Chargers for me in a game that kind of got goofy with the points late. Like it was a competitive game probably all the way. Like it was a 1-score game before they blocked the PAT and return it for 2, and all of a sudden then it kind of goes one way. It felt like we were going to get a fourth quarter game there, and I didn't think that Chargers team.
The receiving core,
they were 2-5 against playoff teams. So anyway, I'm at my piece.
Yeah,
we're going to get
Yeah, the refs won't let Texans win. Mahomes will get some garbage call, invisible calls to make sure Kansas City wins. That's KG Little Joe's. So KG thinks the Texans actually might hang in there. I don't know. Maybe it's so obvious and I'm just overthinking it.
I think that when Rashee Rice went down, there was a lot of putting duct tape on this thing and trying to just make it up on the fly, especially when Travis Kelce isn't like a beating man coverage burger anymore. He's just the guy that runs the wrong route and is always open. Like, it's incredible. He just finds space. But now you're back with D-Hop's been in the offense for 8 weeks. Hollywood Brown's healthy. Running the backfield's healthy. Mahomes' ankle's healthy. They've got 3 tight ends that are comfortable throwing the ball to.
You're right. You're right. Chiefs. You're right. You've done it. I needed you to do this for me. I was, my brain's too hung up. I'm with you. Chiefs -8. All right, let's go into the next game. Commanders +9.5 at Lions. Dude, I like Commanders here.
So I want the Commanders bad. So I'm kind of thinking I might lay off a pregame bet on this thing. Because in my heart of hearts, as I see the game, I see it as being overball. I don't see the Commanders being able to stop the Lions on defense at all. The Lions front, their run game with that O-line, being able to set up everything else, and then the tough covers that they command. I mean, I just watched, we were going back and forth with KG, but Marshawn Lattimore trying to cover Mike Evans, it was like, you felt bad. Like, I love that rivalry, and it got so one-sided. I was like, God damn, get him off the field.
Yeah,
Don't
no,
put
I
this
mean,
film on here.
You're 100% right. With Marshawn Lattimore, I mean, he used to dominate that matchup against Mike Evans, so that's why it was pretty surprising to see this year he kind of just got little boy.
Well, and if there was one matchup, Mike Evans is a first ballot Hall of Famer. We talked about him being the greatest Buccaneer of all time. But if there's a matchup for a guy like that might be able to hang in there, it's against Mike Evans, where you can go maybe win and just get physical with him and hang in there in that regard. Jameson Williams and some of the speed that the Lions offense has, there's no way. There's just no way. So all of a sudden now you're getting nothing but zone, and it's Jared Goff who's going to get time for days, and it's just it's going to be a ton of points from the Lions. So the back end of it is, okay, what can the Commanders possibly, can they match him on offense? And Jaden Daniels continues to overachieve, and every time he's in this circumstance seems to just do enough. So I'd love a shootout game, and I'd love them to stick around and be in this thing. I just think if gun to my head, make me pick a 9.5, I'd get nervous, and I'd probably say the Lions are a little easier here. If this was 10, I'd go Lions all the way, because we have all the data about double-digit spreads in playoff games. So it's hanging right around there. I kind of feel like it's that kind of game. But I don't really love betting against Jaden Daniels. All these close games he's been on, it's like, holy shit, the guy's just got that gene.
Yeah.
I love it for him.
And last year, I mean, we had a hot Tampa team sneak their way through the wild card, play the Lions, and they kept it close. That's the thing. I'm like, it's 9.5 points. I'm like, will the Commanders, like, do they just roll over? And then the Lions coming off a bye, I'm like, could they come out I'm trying to think of a world, but then...
Well, Lance, yeah, and it's not like the defense, like the Lions' back end has been bad the second half of the season, really bad.
Injured and bad.
Okay, you're getting going in that game. Cliff Kingsbury's kind of able to get in his bag, and then you've got a D line that is depleted. They've been hanging in there, but obviously they've lost 3 of their essential guys. So you're not rolling with as many bodies as you'd like, or at least trustworthy bodies that you'd like. So if you can play with a little tempo and you're chasing Jaden Daniels all day, I can see the Commanders' offense absolutely putting up points, which is why I feel great about the over. By the way, we haven't had an over hit yet in the playoffs.
Really? Every game's been under. Wow.
Every under.
Yeah, you're usually on the under, so that might make you happy over there. Or do you do something stupid? I'm seeing the look of disgust.
It drives me crazy.
Oh, you didn't hop in on any of them?
Well, I got good on a lot of first half unders. I think I made earn my stripes there, and then I did a lot of live overs and just was like throwing away money. I was like, surely we're gonna get some action. And it was the sleepiest third quarters I've ever seen in my life. Anyway,
that's awesome. All right, well, I think I'm gonna go Commanders plus 9.5. This one, I just feel it on my bones. Jaden Daniels has not flinched once in any of these big moments, so I'm like, you know what? Just keep going with him, ride the train, and I'm not gonna be that hurt.
So if you're going to go that, here are my recommended props to you. To get that game accomplished, you got to have, I need Jared Goff turnover. I wouldn't even say the pick.
I bet on that regardless, but yeah.
I think the sack fumble is the play you get. I think that's the play you need. Commanders have a decent pass rush, and obviously Jared Goff is stuck in the pocket. So I would bet on something like that. Terry McLaurin, again, doesn't matter what the number is, he's the guy. And then Jaden Daniels' rushing number may be low because he didn't hit it in the last game. So if that thing's anything with a 4 handle on it, I'd take it.
And that's one of my big points about Commanders is Lions. I mean, you go look at the games they played against running quarterbacks, and don't get me wrong, they're the 1 seed, so obviously they didn't struggle that much. But man, a lot of points were put on there, and without the defense, and it's Jared Goff, man. I've seen that I've seen him too many times just barf in moments when you need him the most. So, yeah, I'm saying Commanders. But
I'm in on this overball. I'm going.
Yeah, you're just stick with the over. I like it. I like it. All right, moving on. Rams at Eagles. I don't have much explanation because I'm just such a big fan of the Rams that I am delusional. I'm biased. Rams money line. Here we go.
I'm not a Rams fan. I'm an LA guy, but I am not a Rams fan by any stretch of the imagination. But I'm standing by the winner of that Rams-Vikings game is going to be my NFC pick. It's the Rams. It's money line. I'm not even messing with the points. I'm going Rams money line, and I love the under in this game as well. Rams defense has found something. They're unbelievable. Eagles defense has been the best defense in football all year, which includes a couple all-world defenses this year, including the Chiefs and Steelers. But the Eagles defense all of a sudden is getting a little banged up, and it's Matthew Stafford and Sean McVay who are masters of getting.
Matt, you cut off at masters. There you go. You're back.
Masters of getting into whatever matchup they want, be it by formation, be it once you're in formation, trade shift, motion, anything like that. But they can get you into whatever they want. They can get Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp into situations they like, and they can get first downs and win the field position battle. And then again, now Sirianni, that was impressive. Now I give more points to Saquon because Sirianni I saw the hot mic moment where they were telling him he should have scored. No, God bless you, Saquon. Good job for getting them. We're trying to win a Super Bowl here. So maybe I'm wrong, and maybe they've learned, and we get a really disciplined Eagles team. But if it's a tied game going into the fourth quarter, I'd much prefer Matthew Stafford and Sean McVay to Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni. And frankly, just hearing myself say that, I get a tie game to start the game with that same circumstances. I like it. I'm taking Sean McVay and Matthew Stafford.
Love it. Let me read the chat real quick. David Smerling, let's go Rams. Stafford's championship pedigree runs through his bones. He's got that team for a nice run. All right, David. I believe I'm obviously huge Rams. KG Little Chose, here he goes. Rams game will be a full card of under prop bets on both sides. Interesting. Thoughts on that, Jack?
I love it. That's been if you follow, by the way, everyone's now following him, but Dialed Picks, a move he likes to make is he'll take the under in a game and then load up the under prop bets on the same game right there. Where it's just like, and if you go, we talked about it last week, trying to show the difference between how meaningful where the run games have been. Now I use this to burn me. I got all over Aaron Jones prop bets and fucked myself up. But to that point, no receiver had gone over 100. In several games, the leading receiver of the game was like 55. So you can litter this game with a bunch of receiver unders and probably be in good shape if you see the game as I do, which is underball.
All right, I got one more line for you in the Rams-Eagles game. Over under 2.5 pages. How many pages of his book does A.J. Brown read? How ridiculous is that, man?
It's the LeBron James thing where it's just like, what are you doing to me? Now, here's what I'll say. If it's, truth be told, there's times where you're using the entire possession, your time off on the bench, where you're working through shit. You're on a whiteboard. We're talking through situations. Here's the next sequence of plays we're expecting. Here's the situation. Okay, why aren't we getting these blocks? Do we need to change the way we do it? We've been cross-blocking, whatever.
Yeah.
Those conversations are taking place. A lot of the times you're doing okay. It is like situation normal, all is well. You come out, you check in. Okay, boom. Now coaches get on the headsets and they start working through the next little bit of their call sheet. Here's what's working, here's what's not. Here's what we want to start with. And then we're going to build from there. In those times, the players are just sitting and doing nothing. So in that circumstance, if the guy wants to take a sec and he says it puts him in the right mental state, AJ Brown, since the incident in the middle of the season where apparently him and Jalen Hurts had issues, they've been rolling. So if that gets him in the right mental state, here's the difference. If he was reading the book and the video came up and it was like a coach going headset off trying to come talk to him and he was reading the book and gave him one of those.
Yeah, like, that would be.
I got to finish my pages. Then it'd be like, well, now we have a fucking problem. And here's what I'll also say. The book is also not a distraction to anybody else. It's just him sitting there on the thing. It's a distraction if everyone's like looking like being bothered by it, like what the fuck, that's the thing. But ultimately, like everyone should not give a fuck. If you have like an emotional support animal on the sideline and like now it was a distraction to other players where they're like going up and petting the fucking dog, now we've got an issue. But this thing, I think it's no news. I'm good with it. Even though it's hilarious.
I will say when I saw it, it was followed by the fact that he had one reception for 10 yards. And it was like, get your head out of the fucking book, play the game. But that was also just a completely different game. And I don't know. I see both sides. I saw I forget his name, but he's a old receiver. I think it was Keyshawn Johnson, maybe. Maybe it was that show. Regardless, they were saying, they're like, dude, when it's game time, like people listen to music before games to get them hyped up, blah, blah, blah. And then once it's game time, you put your shit away. But it's like, why does AJ Brown again, like he's just on this diva shit. And it's like, now he gets more attention. I'm like, dude, I'm kind of sick of this guy. Is it Sirianni or just that fucking guy? It's always a receiver, man. But let me know.
That was a great counter. I agree with you. I'm with you because I would be bothered by a guy who's putting headphones on the sideline.
Yeah. So, but I also understood your side where it's like a book is probably the least distracting thing you could have on a sideline for something to get you going. I don't know. But it's
interesting because all these are always on a case-by-case basis, right? Like you go back and watch Winning Time and think about Dennis Rodman got 3 days to go to Vegas and everyone was cool with it. Where it's like, it's what he needs.
But you could everyone kind of understood that one. It's
what he needs.
Yeah, it's what he needs. You're right. All right, let's move on. Ravens at Bills.
The game.
Yeah, the game of the week, maybe game of the year. Man, this matchup, they matched up during the regular season, and I'm pretty sure, correct me if I'm wrong, the Ravens steamrolled them, right?
I think that's accurate. Now I want to look that up before I become an absolute jackass.
So I don't know where to go here. This is another one of those tough spots. But I'm gonna be honest. I'm leaning Bills because I'm just thinking of the last drive playoff football. I trust Josh Allen more than Lamar. But
by the way, quick interjection. You're absolutely right. And I actually now just got snapped back to a horrible memory because I bet all over the Bills on this game. We got a guy that works at Juan Parlay who's a great fan of Buffalo. He's given me great advice on Buffalo takes in the past. and he got me before this game. It was like, this line sucks. Bills are going to win this game outright. It's like Ravens -2.5. I hammered the Bills. The game was over before it started. It was like, God damn it. But it was Sunday Night Football. Ravens won 35-10.
Yeah. So that looked like the mismatch, almost like in the Eagles-Rams game when it just literally seemed like JV versus varsity on, Derrick Henry or Saquon, whichever one was running in those games, just dominating. Like it was just mismatch in the run game. So I don't know. What do you think, man?
It's a weird one because if I was playing just purely logic here, it's Ravens for me. That Ravens team we just saw against the Steelers looked like the team for me that's going to win the Super Bowl. Now I'm going to blink my eyes and watch the Chiefs play this week, and I'll be like, well, who's beating them? But that Ravens team, I was like, this kind of feels like the year for Lamar, if there was going to be one. Derrick Henry's still kind of in his prime, looked fucking awesome against the Steelers.
Yeah.
He might be the first guy to do. He might play till he's 37. Like his size might.
He's like
have that LeBron.
He's
thing.
like LeBron. He's just a genetic freak.
Yeah, he might have that thing. So maybe you get a couple more years of the same outfit, but it really feels like a good year for the Ravens to try to pull it off. So logically, I lean Birds here on this one, but my hunch says this is Josh Allen and Buffalo's time. It has to be.
It feels like it. It feels like it. Let me read off the chat real quick. David Smerling was complimenting KG. He agrees with the prop takes. KG Lil Joe's Ravens Bills is the real, all caps, real Super Bowl. David Smerling agrees with yes, and KG goes, LeBron? Question mark. Why ruin this podcast by bringing him up? KG, that's Goat James. Do not be disrespecting Goat James. Now, Bronny, young Goat, you can disrespect him for now. You can keep sleeping. But LeBron, Goat James. We're LA kids over here. We love the Goat. Maybe, Jack, you can have your argument about or speak your own words about LeBron, but I love LeBron. LeBron's a GOAT. All right.
Ask me any day. My opinion changes. It's tough out here with Bronny.
Yeah, that's fair.
But I just been playing the hunch. It's weird because I feel like any argument I make for Josh Allen, what am I not getting? How am I not getting that in the combination of Lamar and Derrick Henry? Like, if not more so, anything like if you want to go start waxing poetic about Josh Allen's ability on short yardage situations and all this and like, well, make that same case for Baltimore, and the case might even be stronger. So it's the logic here is Ravens. I'm just playing the hunch that it's the Bills' night, and they're rocking and rolling in Buffalo, and it's just that's the way it goes. And it's also a little bit of a fade on Lamar, who has not won this game yet.
No.
Now, Josh Allen is not either. His best game in the playoffs still to date is his loss to Mahomes, where they get beat on the coin toss. Which isn't exactly.
And even worse, it was the 13 seconds. He actually led them down and did what he was supposed to do, and we couldn't stop the Chiefs in 13 seconds. Remember that?
So,
but didn't Gabe Davis had 4 touchdowns that game?
The one, he had like 3 late.
Yeah, something ridiculous.
Yeah. The one bet I feel good about, which I think you're going to disagree with because you see a slower starting game. I see the late game heroics, and I'm basically just betting on the game I want to see. I'm seeing 28 points scored in the fourth quarter. I'm saying no way this game doesn't go over the 51.
No, hey, I have no argument on the over. I agree with you. I honestly think it's going to be the explosion in the second half. Like the first half, both coaches will, they're defensive coaches. They're not going to lose the game or do something stupid early. They'll try to establish the run game and all that. I don't know.
And Lance, even within a conservative game plan, both these quarterbacks can score at any moment.
Exactly. Yeah.
Even within a conservative game plan. So I just see a scenario. You get the shot play, and all of a sudden you start having to match guys. I see at some point a 10-point margin in this game, one way or the other, and then coming back to being tied. So it's just going to be that game of matching. I see. I'm hoping for the game of the year. That's because all the intrigue's there. MVP voting isn't finished. Like even though it's supposed to be, this is the MVP game. You start holding up stats. Lamar cleans out Josh Allen, but for some reason or another, we all kind of just feel like it was Josh Allen's year. Fucking A, we get to live it and see it. I swear to God, though, this is going to be something where I might be watching before the game kicks and just pregame vibes with the Ravens. I'm just like, well, fuck.
I just fold instantly. David Smerler, real quick in the chat, he says, I love Braun as well. He's the second best of all time. MJ number one, of course. Yeah, we're saving all that shit for after football season, right around NBA All-Star break. That's when we'll talk NBA basically every pod. David Smerling, you just hold back. I will come with all the facts and everything you need to know, and then you can make your decision. KG Little Joe's with the long one. I think Bills win and play Kansas City and knock off Kansas City. 3 months after KC loses, Taylor Swift breaks up with Kelsey, and she comes out with a new album called Taylor Town. There's a new chief in town. What the? How do you even come up with this, KG? That's incredible. Yeah, dude, I'm gonna be honest. The Ravens, their stats after week 8, they've been like the top defense. So their defense has really gotten it together. The early season was when they were so susceptible to comebacks, and everyone was like, "What the hell is going on?" So it looks like they figured it out. They're moving Hamilton all around. That guy's an all-world player. And it's like the Bills, they just lost players on defense. They lost players everywhere, and it's like Josh Allen has just been supermaning. Because you were talking about it, Lamar Jackson has all the stats basically over Josh Allen, but it just feels so much different because it's Lamar and Henry, and I'm not trying to discredit Lamar for having Derrick Henry, but it's like there was more balance in their offense as where Josh Allen is just Superman out there and reminds everyone of 2015 MVP Cam Newton running around in the head. So
I almost tried to flip that argument in my head where I was like, yeah, but Josh Allen's gonna have his hand on the ball every time. Whereas you're going to split that up between Lamar and Derrick. Like, I don't know. Like, I tried to flip that in my head.
But James Cook is actually, as much as I honestly did not think he was that good of a running back, he's actually done a good job this year. He's not great. He's not an all-timer, but he's a good, solid running back.
Both skill groups are kind of wildly overachieving groups.
Yeah.
Baltimore is Isaiah Likely, Mark Andrews, Rashad Bateman, and then obviously the freak shows in the backfield. Bills are Khalil Shakir. You're bringing Amari Cooper. You got Keon Coleman running around, and then you got the tight ends between Dawson Knox and Dalton Kincaid.
Don't forget about the barefoot Mac Hollins.
Mac Hollins.
Man versus Wild.
Mac Hollins cost me so much money with that goddamn taunting penalty. I had the under secured. I took a live over. I had a 14-point honey hole, and Mac Hollins takes that thing down to the 1, does the step over. They end up getting 3 instead of 7. Over doesn't hit. $200. Oh, Mac Hollins, you sack of shit.
Oh, that is so brutal. Here we go. If you guys got time, who do you think wins? Oh, that's actually in my picks tonight, David Smerling, and we'll keep you updated on that OKC Cavs game, the rematch in OKC.
We're going in circles. Let's do our Thursday night picks.
Yeah. And KG, so Lamar has thrown 4 interceptions all year. Take the prop of him throwing 1 in this game. Oh, KG, you're just a hater, and I love your energy. I love it. I think I'm going to lean Ravens, by the way, on that game. That's my final.
He nailed that with Aller. Aller didn't throw the pick at all. He called the pick in that one. So I'm going with KG. I'll take the pick.
Yep. All right. So I'm going to just go through. I'm on Chiefs, Commanders, Rams, Ravens. There it is. All right, moving in to Thursday night picks. David Smerling just asked about that NBA game, so should I go first?
Yeah,
go
ahead.
So I like Cavs plus 2.5 at Thunder. They won the first matchup when Hartenstein was healthy, no Chet Holmgren. They're going into this matchup with no Hartenstein or Chet Holmgren. And the Cavs, they play through those bigs, and those bigs are athletic enough to play anywhere from perimeter to inside. I like Cavs here, but I mean, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, holy shit, is such a good player that, it's scary, but I like Cavs here. Next, I like Rockets plus 4.5 at Kings. I know Fred VanVleet is out injured, but that doesn't really throw me off that much. They can play without him. Kings have been hot, don't get me wrong, but the Rockets are the 2nd seed in the West, and I think they can at least cover plus 4.5. Go Cavs, David Smerling. Go Cavs. I love it. Next, Clippers minus 7.5 at Trailblazers. With the return of Kawhi Leonard, the Claw, the man, the myth, the legend, the guy we didn't know still exists, but he does, and he plays basketball at a high level still to this day. With them, James Harden, those guys, I think they blow out the Trailblazers, even though the Trailblazers are still trying to hang in games. No, Clippers are actually starting to get hot, and it kind of worries me. Then, my last pick is a parlay with 2 picks. It's hockey, folks. NHL. I got this from a certified NHL picker, a Canadian. We wanted to get him on the show. I told him next week. We still have a lot of football to cover. Dallas Stars money line, Panthers money line. This gets to even odds here. I got Ottinger in the net for the Stars, and that guy's an absolute demon. He's not going to lose to the Canadians. And then the Panthers. I forget who they play, but they're one of the best teams in hockey, folks. Don't sweat it. Just take the money line. Let's just be nice. And those are my picks. Jack, go ahead.
Going back to the college hoops well here, Lance.
Yep.
Going back. One of these games just tipped a couple minutes ago. So if you can still get this line live, go ahead and snag it. Delaware minus 10.5 versus Stony Brook. Don't ask why I'm doing it. Just do it. Go Blue Hens. Temple plus 6.5 versus Memphis. Weird line is why I'm chasing this one. Very weird line, and the public is all over Memphis. My guy Jamal Mashburn for Temple is averaging over 20 a game. He's coming off a 24-point game. I really like Memphis. I don't like betting against him. This line makes no sense. This line, I'm just like,
what should it be?
Someone knows something. This line should be 15.5.
Oh, okay. I see.
Yeah. So the fact that Temple's hanging in there at the 6.5 and the public's all over Memphis, I'm just going to chase it. Go Owls. 6.5. Michigan minus 10.5 at Minnesota. Michigan's won their last 5 games, including sweeping their road trip to LA. Minnesota team will be rocking, huge home atmosphere, but I expect the Wolverines to get up early and neutralize the crowd a little bit, Lance. I'm going to bring up these 2 guys again because they're fucking incredible to watch. Danny Wolf and Vladislav Golden, the 2 7-footers for Michigan. Danny Wolf playing point forward and lighting it up. It's like his box score, Lance, every game is like he's going to have a quadruple double this year. It's going to be awesome. And then Vladislav Golden, 7-2 monster, came over with Coach May, which, by the way, Coach May comes from FAU, where they were regularly going like 29-2. That was their path to the tournament. So in a game like this, in a Big Ten slate, I think people look for the letdown, and that's why you might bet Minnesota on the 10.5. I do not see letdown game here. I see Michigan rolling and covering the 10.5 easily. And then last one is a have fun bet. It's the last game of the night, and it's got a chance to be a really cool game, or it might suck. Oregon State plus 9.5 versus Gonzaga. Oregon State hung in there against Oregon, got beat by 2 in a last possession game. And they've beat a lot of good small schools that are going to be in the tournament come March, Lance. These are not games that Mark Few ever loses, so I'm not taking Oregon State plus 9.5. Gonzaga's lost 4 this year. They're not going to lose 5 to Oregon State. But having said, I just said it, they've lost 4 this year now to good teams is who they're getting beat by. But still, it's not this freak show Gonzaga group of old. It's kind of a down year for them. And this is going to be the biggest game remaining on Oregon State's schedule. So this is their Super Bowl. They're catching 9.5. They're at home. Hopefully they get it to the final 10 minutes of this game and we cover it. And we get a fun game. That's what I'm betting on there. So those are my picks.
Hey, I really liked Michigan. And then the rest, I honestly don't know enough about to concur. But man, you've put me on to this Danny Wolf kid, and I love him, Jack. You're the man for that call out, because you called it early in the season. You're like, Michigan's got this 7-footer. He can hoop. He's got the ball on the string. He's so athletic. It's like he's so coordinated with his body because those 7-footers, they get to like the weird blocky. They get awkward. This guy's not. This guy will wrap it behind the back, go wee, and throw a little dish pass to the corner. He's unbelievable.
It's kind of its own unique athleticism too. Yeah. It's not necessarily graceful, but it's like smooth in its own way.
Yeah.
Where it's like, it's a little bit Y. It's a little bit like a guy at the Y balling with the big baggy t-shirt. But he's 7'1", and he's just fucking hooping, and he actually plays all-world defense. He's guarding the perimeter. Like, he's going to be a top 10 pick, and he wasn't a guy on draft radars Parents went to Michigan. He's from Israel. He's a baller. I love him.
Dude, he is a freak show. He's like, and it's like, I mean, you can only imagine how loud his footsteps are when he does get down low, but it's graceful. He's right there. He's got good for him.
And then you're dealing with that and Vladislav Golden, who's coming over with Coach May from FAU. That guy's a fucking monster. He looks and plays exactly like his name might indicate. He's just fucking Vladislav.
Literally, no, he's an absolute beast. KG Little Joe's lock of the night, Phoenix minus 11.5. That's a lot of points for a lock of the night, but they are playing the Washington Wizards, who absolutely stink like shit. And here they go, KG Little Joe's. Hey, keep an eye out on the UIC men's basketball team. Look out for this kid, Javon Jackson. Is that University of Illinois, Chicago? Right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay. So, Javon Jackson, the spotlight's been put on you. I'm going to be looking out for you.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, well, that wraps up our Thursday night picks. Just going real quick. Cavs plus 2.5 at Thunder. Rockets plus 4.5 at Kings. Clippers minus 7.5 at Trailblazers. Dallas Stars and Panthers money line for NHL. I love that one. And yep, there's our picks. You want to go through the outro?
Absolutely. This show was brought to you by Wanna Parlay, home of the $2 parlay and the world's richest parlay, where every day people are turning $2 into $2,000. Great to have the guests in the audience today. Great to have KG come on the show and chat a little bit. Hopefully we have him back on soon. Raider, great to have you in the chat. Good to hear from you. Hopefully we do see you at Little Joe's come February 10th. A couple special shout outs that we had out there. DiNardo, $200 richer. Way to go, DiNardo. Ciciero, Rocky, 3x9, still leading the main event. I'm rooting for you, pal. I'm just telling you, that ain't going to make it, that 47, guys. So if you're listening to this and you got a chance, go sling some parlays at that. It's $2,000 you're playing for. It's more than worth it. And then again, we talked to KG. We brought up Little Joe's. A quick reminder from them. We are less than a month away from the Drop Takeover at Little Joe's in Chicago. Back and bigger than ever. We're going to have Arthur and Bob behind the bar pouring drinks. KG is in the kitchen whipping up the famous jambalaya, beef sandwiches, and those insane Taylor Street sliders. El Bandito is going to be co-sponsoring, as well as Wanna Parlay. Hopefully we'll be in the building there on February 10th from 4 p.m. to 2 a.m. If you're in the Chicago area, come join us. We're going to be having fun with KG. We'll be back on Monday doing the same podcast at the same time, having fun, hopefully recapping a awesome NFL weekend and getting ready for the college national championship there on Monday night.
All right, folks, it's been a pleasure. We'll see you next time. Peace.